I met a gypsy.
So you got the 250F KTM, and then you did some testing for the factory team. What was like, forget about the deals and all that sort of stuff. What was it like the first time you rode a factory big bike?
Yeah, I know. KTM brought like a factory bike because it was right before contract time, so they wanted to, obviously test a good bike, see what I'm gonna be riding, and you show up with the two KTM vans. It's all professional and stuff. Usually, I just go to the truck, my van, and dirt bike, and it was like, oh geez, it's pretty cool. Definitely getting around to be around those guys. Dungy's testing the KTM. It's like you're right next to like the big time guys. So bike was like you hop on a pro bike, it's a factory bike, it's a lot faster than your average mod bike, so you're like getting used to it and stuff, and it's just crazy. Everyone, kind of all the team guys are watching. It's definitely a lot of pressure, but yeah, from there it's just trying to find your comfort zone on the bike and see what's best for you.
And what was what was your impressions of that factory KTM? Like motor wise, suspension wise, was it quite a big difference to what you were used to?
Yeah, definitely. I had my stock 250F at the moment, and Jamie did some mapping on it to give me a little more power. So I was riding a stock bike, and then when I tested the factory bike, suspension was a lot stiffer. I had like the basic WP stuff built on it, so it wasn't like super stiff. And got on the KTM, super stiff, so we had to obviously soften the suspension up a little bit. But like motor wise, it's like a whole different world when you get on a factory bike from a stock 250. It's like the power is crazy on those things, and especially KTM has a lot of mid to top power, so it like pulls gnarly, but overall it's pretty cool. And then you go to the Star bike, another factory bike, factory motor, and you get on that thing, and that thing's got the gnarliest torque I've ever ridden on a dirt bike. It's so sick, and obviously it has some gnarly mid to top. It pulls hard, but right when I got on that Star bike, I was like, dang, this is gonna make the decision a lot harder because this thing goes gnarly fast. Yeah, it was
So,
like crazy. I was like,
oh, sorry, keep
yeah.
going.
No, you're good.
Yeah, dude. So, when when I did the podcast with your dad, I was just like, "Have you ever ridden one of those YZ 250s, man?" Because like they're pretty ridiculous. I went and rode at Townley's in like 2019. I'd never ridden one of those bikes before. I was like, "What is this thing? Like, is this for real?" And yeah, it just turns out it was just a stock Yamaha 250. And I was like, okay, this makes a lot of sense why the Star bikes are so good, because you get like this base package and this base motor that's insane. So obviously when you start modding that thing, it's going to turn into a monster. And then that's pretty much how it
Yeah.
worked out for you. You were just like, what the hell?
Yeah, I know. I was like, dang, this thing's crazy because obviously I went back to Florida and tested their race bike like they use for the 250 class and pros to get a good feel on it. And it was just like, you just every corner wheeling out of everything. I was like, dude, this thing's so sick. But obviously, a lot of the good bikes are really close too in pro racing because they got to make it obviously as close as they can so they're up front. But the Star bike definitely was crazy.
Yeah, and then the first time you rode it, that the track was deep too, man. Like super, super deep.
Yeah, definitely. On the KTM, the track wasn't as deep because I rode Paula and Glen Helen, so it was more fast speed. And when I rode the Star bike in Florida, they had the track tilt, so it was just definitely rings your ears. Like I rode the factory bike, and it's so loud. It like I had to wear earplugs because you're just pulling, you're going wide open through that soft stuff, and it's ringing your ears because it's such gnarly power and just so loud. But it just like pulls through everything. It's so nice.
Yeah, and then I can imagine going into Supercross, just having that power everywhere that you want it. It's got to make
Yeah.
you kind of more confident.
Yeah, definitely. Star bike on Supercross is outrageous. I rode Supercross for the past 2 days. It's got the gnarliest torque. Like you mess up a section, you just get a little clutch right in the transition. You're back tripling. It's like it's a nice Supercross bike.
So I saw on the video at one point, like Ferrandis is out on the track, and I'm sure there are a bunch of other guys riding. It actually looked like you did a lot of laps that first day that you rode Supercross. How do you reckon? Obviously, you're not trying to be speed-wise, like you're not going all the way as fast as you can, and that's not the plan, and it's not the move for you to just go out and try and go that fast first day. But was there, because I mean, there's got to be a point where you're like, you wake up in the morning and you know you're about to ride Supercross for the first time on your factory bike. You got to be a little bit like, shit, man, like, can I do this? So what was it like, your expectations wise? And then did you see the speed they were going and think like, oh, I can eventually do that?
Yeah, I watched like Colt Nichols, Dylan, and I sat there before I went out and rode. Just watched them go through the whoops. They got some crazy whip speed, and then just seeing Colt's like how he hit the turns, how hard he hit them, and like seeing how he races Supercross, and it's like, oh, that kind of makes sense. He's hitting the turns that hard. Probably gives me a good reason why he's obviously up front. So I was kind of just going to give that to myself to go out on the Supercross track and kind of copy what Colt was doing. Not to the pace he was going, obviously, because not up there yet, but just got out on the track and just try to be smooth the first day on the bike. So just getting the track figured out, and we practiced the whoops a lot because I was trying to get those dialed on the 250. First time I ever rode the Supercross track on a 250, and got thrown on the gnarly fast bike. So it was a fun time getting to hit all the fat rhythms, and those bikes handle crazily good. Like, you'll clip a rhythm, barely feel it. Like, the suspension's just crazy. Going through the whoops handles like super nice, and you got the suspension guy there too with you, watching you do the whole track. So he obviously watches me through the whoops. Oh, we'll make this change, we'll do this. It's sweet.
It honestly just sounds like fun. Like, that sounds just like a fun day of riding.
Yeah, it's crazy, you know? Everyone's just watching you, and you're getting ride with the factory guys. It's like, how would you ever want to give this up?
Yeah, well, you're one of those factory guys now. It's like, you're saying like, oh, you get to ride with the factory guys. It's like, hey, you're the factory guy now too.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy getting to ride with these guys and be one of the guys. So it's definitely a good path.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.